Hey, what's up, guys? Brandon Jones here and Don Casanova.
What's up, everybody?
Who doesn't get a chance to chill on the Just Played stage?
Once in a while.
Once in a while. So I'm going to address you guys directly because Don knows what I'm talking about. You know, sometimes we do Just Playeds. It's like, hey, Don, tell me about the game that you played, or I'll tell you about what I played. But we both played Guitar Hero Live. And actually, before I jump in, what did you think overall? Are you excited?
Definitely. I mean, I'm going to play it, so I'm looking forward to it.
And you have an experience with the Guitar Hero franchise?
I used to on the original first couple, and then I forget what, the Metallica Special Edition or something, and a couple others. But I fell off towards the end. I don't think I played the last one or two. I don't know how many of the specialty iterations they had too. But yeah, definitely a fan from back in the day.
They really got band heavy, towards the end, like Green Day and Aerosmith and Metallica. So if you guys haven't found out yet, and you are discovering the Guitar Hero announcement through us, first of all, thank you. Second of all, we'll explain really quickly what we think are the three most exciting things that they've announced with Guitar Hero Live. First of all, I guess we should talk about Live, like what that means. They mentioned that they're going to introduce some more things at E3 this year that factor into that title, but the big thing that I took from it was they have this online mode where you're essentially picking a song to play that is in their catalog, and while you're playing it, you can see all of the other people online that are live currently playing the same song that you're playing, and you can compare your score to their scores. So I'm not sure if you can actually follow those people online or track them down between songs.
They had, on the side of the screen, they had the little ghost progress bars, so you were keeping tabs. You could see as people were missing notes the same way you would in a racing game if they're getting a little behind. And so I forget how many people are playing at once, but they had multiple people kind of listed on the side of the screen, little indicators of so you keep up with each other as you're all simultaneously playing the song. So
it's kind of fun to think of playing a song simultaneously while other people are checking out, and I'm sure they'll mention more aspects of how that works. The other thing, of course, is the guitar. So what they did was, and unfortunately we don't have a guitar here to demonstrate, but they've gone from 5 buttons to 6 buttons, and there are 3 buttons right on top of each other. The top button, so is a black set, and the bottom button is a white set. And the black set is the top, meaning the closer to the upper part of your body. And so there's only 3 tracks on the highway, and then the note that you're playing is indicated by either being a black note or a white note. So if you see a white button on the first track on the left, and then it's the first button on the bottom. If you see a black note on the same track in the same part of the highway, then you'll just hit one note up. But it means that your fingers are going to get all crazy and contorted now, not stretching your pinky down to hit that 5th button, but actually moving your fingers up and down like you would begin to do. I mean, of course, there'd be 5 tracks deep instead of just 2 layers. But it's an interesting way to actually kind of trick your brain into thinking oh, I'm actually making chords, and I'm actually playing a guitar. So that was really interesting and not something that I had thought of to do with the hardware.
That's the part of it I'm most excited about. They made a point of one of the reasons they changed it when they're originally designing the original Guitar Hero thing, they just wanted a simple, accessible thing for people because everyone loved doing the air guitar thing. They wanted to make it a practical thing that would feel cool, and it worked in the first one, but now it really is something that you're well, I'm going to consider trying this again because you're doing these notes and you're doing moving your 3 fingers like this a lot and everything. So really you start to get that sensation again of oh, I'm playing air guitar, but it's actually kind of cool, I thought that's the part I'm most excited about is actually the peripheral, yeah.
And I think, there were rumors for a long time that Guitar Hero and Rock Band was coming out, and so people were wondering, well, now that we're in a new console generation, is there going to be any crossover with the equipment? And I think that puts the kibosh on that right away. They're nope, there's no way. With we haven't seen Rock Band's hardware yet, but they're this is a whole different thing down from the hardware to the execution to, the live components that we're adding in. And finally, which might be the most interesting aspect of what they're doing, they're changing the kind of flamboyant, CG character creation that you would do, and seeing the third person view of the stage. So normally, obviously, when you're looking at the highway and you're trying to hit those notes, it's kind of tough to really pay attention to a lot of the crazy stuff that's happening in the background because you want to hit the notes. And so instead of you kind of having a floating camera or a third-person view from the audience, you're now going to have a first-person view as if you were this guitarist on stage at a concert. Yeah. And what they did was they actually had a machine that recorded one continuous take through the entire song, or pretends to be one continuous take. and they have a good version of it and a bad version of it. So depending on whether you're doing a good job in the song or a bad version of the song, it kind of does like a little like Wayne's World, transition between the good and the bad version, and everything changes. The signs in the audience change to like you rule to you suck.
People are booing.
People in the audience are like clearly disappointed with you, and it's not just in the distance. Like in one of the things that we played, there was like a pit right in front, so you get right up in their face, and you can see these fans just like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, really.
And the band members get pissed, so it's fun to have like the lead singer come up to you, and be upset and kind of like trying to be professional towards the audience, but giving you the stink eye because it's like, "What are you doing? You're not performing as well as we are." And depending on where you are on stage, the audio will shift to your location. So if the camera's really close to the drums, you'll hear the drums louder than any of the other instruments.
Yeah.
So those are basically the three components of Guitar Hero Live. Out of those three, what do you think is the most exciting?
Well, most exciting, most promising, I would say, is the peripheral, as I said. That's the thing that I'm almost sure is going to be fun. The most interesting, and also that I got to experience, the whole tone of the game is a little different. Like you said, now that it's all live action, it's just like all the colors are gone, it's a little more serious and everything like that. And so as Brandon was saying, you're seeing it all from live action first person point of view, and anytime I see a game where the main visuals are all live action video, I get a little like worried. I start thinking of Sega CD or something, and like how hard it is to make an interactive element be live action and actually be cool in the game and not be repetitive or just weird. So far this looks interesting because, like you said, they shot a bunch of different scenes, a bunch of different camera moves. They do the same move and replicate them. Yeah, and they have these kind of like very nice transitions that happen as you're playing the song, so you almost visually don't notice, like, you're looking at the crowd and then it kind of transitions to like, oh, you're not doing good, so you're gonna look at the drum, so it looks almost like one continuous performance. But that's the part that like I have to see more than just a couple shows and how that's gonna play out. Because before, the whole art style and everything was just kind of fun and it was there. Like they said, that's just more of a visual flair of the game. It doesn't have anything to do with the gameplay. But that's the part, I don't know, I'm uneasy about, but I'm hopeful for. I hope it works out, because if it does, it could be really cool.
And there was a change in the venues. So like one was kind of like both were pretty big venues, but one was like a closed venue, so you're definitely indoors at like a popular club or something like that in a major city. And then another one was out like at like huge concert outdoors. So like tons of people, and they did say that like they didn't go out to some crazy venue, like they did use computer graphics to like simulate this big crowd. Yeah. But I bought it. I thought it looked pretty good.
It was well done. I mean, they definitely like had a big live action, almost movie production for this, and because they had to do it at clubs all the way up to a big stadium. And they did a great job of like, that whole crowd wasn't there, but there was a big portion. They must have had at least a few hundred extras or a couple thousand, who knows. I think they said they had a couple thousand for the big giant venue. So
they had no idea what they were there for. I thought it was some kind of music documentary or something.
Yeah, so that's cool, because you're not seeing like archival footage blended in or something like that. It's all like live action really happening for the game. So,
and you get a little setup beforehand, so you actually start each of the songs backstage, like chilling with the band, and then like the guy comes up and says like, okay, you're on, and so you follow him, and there's like little pre-concert rituals and stuff, and you can see like groupies like winking at you and cheering you on.
It's kind of like they can't get too like R-rated or anything.
Right,
it's PG. That's the only thing that's kind of
well, let's see, it might be DLC. Maybe you can unlock something like
some punk band. Things will get nuts.
So we played a couple popular songs that you guys can hear from the songs that we're playing for the gameplay that we'll put up today. We don't know the roster yet. We don't know. They showed us one guitar. We don't know if they're going to have other flavors of guitars or skins or stuff like that. I remember the old Guitar Hero games always came with stickers or stuff like that you could put on the guitar. I have one concern. There's one thing that's weird that Guitar Hero actually moved away from that I didn't have a big problem of way back in the day, and that was when Guitar Hero 1 first came out. I can't remember if 2 had this, or if like 2 was the big shift away from it. But when they had Guitar Hero 1, the majority of the songs, if not all of them, were all covers. Because they couldn't get, I don't know if they could get the rights to the actual song because it wasn't like a huge established franchise yet. And both Rock Band and Guitar Hero completely moved away from that because they're like, we want you to hear the actual songs. But the issue that I had was, it's like, I'm not in any of these bands, and the band that we're playing as is not the band. So I actually kind of got into the vibe of us being a cover band. Like that didn't bother me to hear different vocals, because the whole thing is immersion. He's like, we want you to feel like a rock star. We want you to feel like you're on stage. And like, to me, it's like a little bit immersion breaking when I'm hearing the voice of this singer that I'm familiar with coming out of the mouth of someone who's not him. So it's like, wow, does this guy just do this like drop dead impression of every single musical artist of all time? Or if they're playing up this live aspect, it's weird not to like go even further and play into the reality of what if you are the greatest cover band of all time, and they actually recreated these songs, because they do go to such great lengths to like I said, to make the drums sound louder in one part, and to make it sound live. They mentioned that they do want to have live versions of songs because they said it's a completely different dynamic and it sounds totally different.
That could be really cool.
So that was a little weird, but I mean, I might just be, me in the corner complaining about that because people, when they get into these games, they love these songs and they want to hear the actual versions of it.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. That kind of stood out. It just stands out to you in general, being the fact that it's a high production. You're getting on stage, all the stuff is cool, but you're not recognizing any of the people or anything like that. But yeah, It's supposed to be this giant. So, but I'm interesting how it'll play in with the whole career mode. Might really be cool in this case because depending how you start off and progress, it might really feel like you are some band that I don't know how the cover thing will work, but you know what I mean. You'll feel like you're actually at the end just performing the song yourself.
So yeah, lots of stuff. Obviously, it's an exciting announcement. We know now we're getting a new Guitar Hero and a new Rock Band. We're obviously gonna have to stream both of these games. Dom, are you down for streaming?
That'll be fun. I just remembered how obsessive I'd get. Like I didn't want to miss one note, and then you'd get like 4/5 of the way through the song and miss one or something, almost get there and have to start over, do it again, start over, do it again. It's like very obsessive kind of gameplay.
And there was a little bit of performance anxiety like in front of the developers, them being like, so here's Guitar Hero Live, now play it. We're just like, what is this? What are these crazy notes? And they're like, oh, you seem to get it, why don't you up the difficulty? And it's like, well, I'm fine, man. This is the first time I've ever really played this brand new game.
Yeah.
So and the big question that everybody has that we can't answer until the game comes out is like, is this a good sell? Like, what's going to sell more, Rock Band, Guitar Hero? Are they both going to sell enough to see the return of both of these franchises? But I think coming out of the gate, Rock Band kind of announced like, hey, we're doing it, more info to come, and I thought that was really exciting. The Guitar Hero established like there are very different things about what we're doing now than we did before.
I'm hoping
they really
it
set a
works.
clear message.
Yeah, I'm hoping it works. I mean,
you do hope you want these franchises to come back?
I think if they'll come, the only way they'll be successful and come back is if they're fun. But if they're fun again in the same way they were, a new way, but that same kind of thing, it'll be great because I had a lot of fun, for a period of time back in the day playing Guitar.
So your muscle memory, you got to unlearn what you've learned and start all over again with Guitar Hero Live. And thanks so much, Don, for coming in and shooting the interview and because you were on hand, getting your hands on the game.
Yeah, that was
and
fun.
for chatting about it.
Thank you.